Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. Mr. Mayor, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Easter.
Happy day
Easter.
after Easter to you as well.
It's Dingus Day.
You know, I had a dentist appointment today, and it went fine.
Good.
I have great oral health.
Perfect.
Zero cavities. Great report from the dentist, but I was laughing because I had Easter candy yesterday, right? And I'm laughing like, oh, how funny is this? Like, I'm going to the dentist after like a very Easter heavy or a candy heavy holiday. Yeah. And then so we get done with the appointment. Everything's fine. There's no cavities. Perfect bill of health. And they're like, all right, so we want to schedule for your next 6 months. I'm like, yeah, sure. What's it looking like? They're like, the first Monday after Halloween, which Halloween's like on a Saturday this year. So I'm like, man, I gotta be tip top shape.
Right?
I got after Easter and after Halloween. I got.
But just think if you can pull it off after Halloween, man.
What can I do?
Back to back.
You know what I mean? What can't I do if I can pull off no cavities after Easter and Halloween?
I would leave the dentist office after that appointment and buy a lottery ticket.
Limit. So Sky is also the limit at Robert Miller and Son Furniture this month because they have a 30% discount on all furniture in the store.
Incredible.
Plus, with 0% interest financing for up to 60 months on eligible purchases, you can easily furnish your home with the top-rated bestsellers like Lazy Boy recliners, Smith Brothers living room sets, and premium mattresses, all while staying within your budget.
Wow.
Go visit our buddies and our good partners, Robert Miller and Son, in Kokomo today for 30% off.
30%.
30%.
It's great.
That. Tax season, baby. Use that tax check on some furniture.
There you go.
Boom.
It's coming.
How was your weekend?
Wonderful. Yeah, the weather cooperated tremendously. I know it was a little wet Friday night into Saturday and kind of put a damper, unfortunately, on the park department's kids' Easter egg hunt since it was out at Northwest Park. I know there's a handful of folks like, oh, we should have still had it. It wasn't raining that hard, but the water didn't drain. I mean, you have no idea. The mist and rain that was coming down intermittently had nothing to do with the cancellation. It was the water that was setting on the fields. And, you know, people say, hey, there should have been a backup plan. Why didn't you move it somewhere else? What folks don't realize, I mean, it's not just hey, here we're going to dump some Easter eggs, on the field and send some kids out. I mean, I know it's a single event, but it's 5 different hunts or 5 different categories. And so it's based on ages. And so they utilize all those, all the diamonds, and because there's 5 different categories, I mean, there's like over 1,000 eggs. I mean, so it's not something you just easily put in Memorial Gym or City Hall or someplace else. Had to do that, but I did hear that we went ahead and the backup plan was a rain date. They're doing it this Thursday out at Northwest Park. Sounds like it's going to be beautiful.
Oh,
it's
that's the 80-degree day.
80-degree day. Things will be dry by then, and so it'll be out Northwest Park 5:30 this Thursday is the makeup. So, folks, plan accordingly. Easter's not done yet.
Well, I mean, it is, but Easter egg hunts aren't.
Easter egg hunts aren't, yeah.
You even got a little Easter green.
I did, yeah.
Good for you. Love that. Well, what's going on at City Hall?
Just spring work, man. We're getting ready to, praying that the milling machine's in so we can start some paving, but still navigating through to see what we need to do priority-wise with projects and such, with what may come out of the State House with Senate Bill 1 and how immediate some of those effects are with the tax relief that's being proposed. But outside of that, it's just trying to get started on or helping get projects started, whether the city's directly involved or indirectly involved to get things done. So I know we're getting close to having the splash pad out at Jackson Morrow Park. Yep. Got an update on that today, but also there's some new playground equipment that's going to be completed and open to the kiddos here the next few days or so. But then outside of that, just waiting for paving projects to get done so we can work on the pickleball and tennis courts over at Cutler Park, which is the old Eastside Little League, as well as the miniature golf course in partnership with Bridges Outreach, over that direction. So again, just chomping at the bit to get a number of these projects going and get some momentum and get them done.
Love that. Yeah, we've got some questions on those topics for the show today.
Perfect.
I don't know what's going on. Something's in the water. We talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago. I think we had a record-breaking show of 16 questions before the show
Before it even started.
So obviously, if you're watching this live, which a lot of you guys are, I see that. Appreciate it. You can always leave your questions in the chat. That's why I have my laptop here. I pull them over to my notes, and your questions to the mayor get asked live on the air. This is the Mayor Tyler Moore Show live here on the Kokomo Post. So 2 weeks ago, we had 16 questions. Last week, we had 17 questions. This week, we have 36 pre-show questions.
Look out.
We have 36 questions before the show even begins.
So I'll try and be brief with my answers, as thorough as I can, but as brief so we can knock them all out so we're not here for a couple hours. But
and we've got them organized. We've done our due diligence today. We've got some questions organized. So if there are questions that are pretty much like similar enough or very similar questions, I'm going to say you asked as well, but we might not ask every single question verbatim because like I said, some of the questions are very similar.
Good.
But yeah, 36 questions.
Get them. Yeah.
This week. So
love it. Thank you all.
Let's get started.
Good stuff. Great opportunity.
Right. Okay. First question is Lacey Jones on Facebook. Environmental question.
Okay.
Bradford pears are incredibly invasive. Birds pick up their seeds, spread them, and then trees/bushes are taking over native plants and diminishing ecological warfare. It's intense.
Okay.
When the tree chokes out native plants, those plants can't support native insects and pollinators. While they are pretty, many cities have been chopping them down and replanting species more beneficial to the ecosystem. What can we do? They are everywhere. Unless I'm mistaken, weren't they purposely planted down West Sycamore and around the city? Lacey Jones on Facebook.
Yeah, obviously West Sycamore on the west side of downtown they are lined up and down through there. So assessing those. Fortunately, last late fall, the Parks Department hired a full-time arborist, and so he is in the process not only of trimming back and cutting things, but taking an assessment of all the foliage, if you will, not just in the parks, but along our streets and roadways and trails and such, to do a formal assessment. So he may be looking at those with as many as she pointed out, and as many notice when you're traveling. That's quite a bit up through there. I mean, if they are evasive, if they are creating issues, I mean, yes, we can look at some type of plan to, kind of gradually maybe phase those out or see what can be done. But I mean, it could get costly, but it's definitely something that we would look into, and is being done by our again full-time arborist. So. Any thoughts, suggestions, questions, especially in regards to trees and foliage, whether it's along the streets or in the parks, they can email the park department directly. I think the general mailbox email is parkdepartment@cityofkokomo.org. So suggestions and recommendations or concerns about any of that can be directed to them, and they'll get that to our arborist.
Gotcha. Next question, actually the next two questions are from Operation Blue Horizon, which I did just look them up, and just so you know who this is.
Yep, I think they had the second of two rallies, just I think it was on Saturday.
They say they are a political action committee. Our mission is to educate, engage, and mobilize our community around the local democratic values, policies, and candidates, driving civil action for a more just and inclusive future here in Howard County. Awesome. Just like when it is not just a name, I like to know who's asked a question. What is the amount the city is expected to lose due to SB1, and how will the city be able to make up that loss? Do you anticipate raising income taxes or user fees? Also, with Earth Day being tomorrow, and with the latest state budget completely eliminating funding for the Indiana trails, what is Kokomo's leadership doing to advocate for ongoing trail funding in Indiana? How do we plan to protect the trails right here in Kokomo?
Okay, so two parts. The overall impact that Senate Bill 1 will have on the city of Kokomo, is yet to be determined. I know we're working with a consultant to see what that looks like and make projections in the next couple of years, especially with some of the phase-ins of certain limitations and I guess parameters around business personal property tax. Business personal property tax is probably our biggest concern that the state legislature addressed. We are one of maybe 6 or 7 cities or counties that rely heavily upon business personal property tax. And in the state that it was before it passed, and even some of the effects that may come into play a couple of years now, we could stand to lose close to $14 million, which is close to 20% of our budget. So there's legitimate concerns there. What we would have to look at is services, personnel, equipment. I mean, we've already tried to make a concerted effort to continue to beef up both police and fire, and so that'll be on top of the priority list to continue to work on public safety with that and such. There's also the possibility, because personnel costs are the largest portion of any budget. If there's the possibility of narrowing or reducing the workforce, that's the last thing we want to do. But a lot of that too, those effects could come into play with additional services that we're providing, the leaves and limbs that are done extra every year that aren't considered trash, that our street and refuse department takes care of. It could affect some of the repaving projects that we have, and the matching funds that we would need for community crossings, grants if there's still funds coming from the state or federal government for that. I mean, so the overall impact we're still trying to figure out and come up with the plan. So that's yet to be decided. Yet. And then in regards to what the state's done with trails, we'll continue to focus on maintaining and preserving the trails that we have within the Parks Department budget as it stands. We're still poking the railroad companies to see if we can expand our trail system within our means and budgets there. But at the state level, we're in constant conversation with legislators, with our local legislators in regards to a whole gamut of things, trails being one of them, and trying to advocate to them or ask them to advocate for continued funding that. I know Representative Karikoff is a big part of the trail advocacy at the state level, and so he's doing his part there. But I mean, that's all we can do here is to continue to maintain and preserve what we've got to make the trail system that we have is as safe and manageable as possible, while still trying to find opportunities to expand those if and when we can, depending on how revenues pan out.
Okay.
A lot of stuff.
So this has been brought up the last few weeks, the potential loss of 20% of city budget. What percentage likely is that going to happen?
Well, we keep hearing that this is what's proposed now, and because some of it's phasing in and such that it gives the legislators time to go back and let the dust settle and try and fix things and such. So,
are other communities in a similar boat?
There are a few that are, again, as reliant on business personal property tax as we are. Like I said, there's not as many as there are that aren't. I mean, every city or municipality will affect, or will experience some type of reduction or effect on the adjustment on business personal property tax, but not to the extent that, cities like Kokomo, whether it's Columbus, Lafayette, those that have large manufacturing, that have, large expensive amounts of equipment within these facilities. What the percentage of having 20% affected, I don't know. I mean, could be 75, 80% that it would come into play. But as for, yes, they being the legislators say, okay, well, with this tax relief and such, the locals do have the opportunity then to max out their local income tax that they collect. I mean, which would raise that. I mean, there's user fees. There's food and beverage tax. I mean, so those are the things that if the locals are given the opportunity to use, that if they so choose or need to make up some shortfalls, that those have those tools to work with. And I mean, that's the last thing anybody really, wants to do or resort to. But if it's being taken away, somewhere, and folks still expect to have the level of services and protection and amenities that they do,
there's a cost.
It's an unfortunate give and take, and that will now fall more on the locals than it will be at the state.
And is this a new idea or initiative with just the new governor in the state house, or how did this originate?
Yeah, I mean, it was advocated for by the new governor. I mean, but it's something that, anybody that's followed, state politics, in the last handful of years, there's always been the talk of off and on, especially during budget years, on trying to provide additional tax relief to the citizens. I mean, the most drastic in recent years was back in 2008 when, the vote went out to the citizens of the state of Indiana to vote on having property tax caps be written into the Constitution, and that did pass. And so there was tax relief established there, and a lot of folks are, at their 1% cap anyhow. And so any type of tax relief, folks may not experience it as much as what they think because they're at the caps and are already, based on AVs and are experiencing that. But with everybody's property taxes going up, I mean, the culprit is really the rising assessed values of properties that are tied to market values or what properties sell for. And because I think we've talked about this a time or two, it's supply and demand. I mean, because the supply for residential, housing has been low and the demand has been high, then sales prices get driven up. And then when the sales prices are used as, the benchmarks in a lot of cases for determining the assessed values of existing properties, then that's what, continues to drive those up, just like the costs. So.
Sure. Okay. Next question is from Allie James on Facebook. Yeah. Let's talk about cannabis legalization for our state, and what are we going to do moving forward to make that happen?
Here at the local level, I mean, we can, I guess, take the information that we have, and because that's going to be a decision made by the state and the state legislature. I think it's something that would be one thing that they would not.
God, talk about something to make up
pass
tax
along,
revenue.
To right. But again, that would be at the state. I mean, similar like a cigarette tax or taxes on other things.
That? Yeah.
So we'll just continue to watch and monitor it and see what shakes out at the state level and just how best to address it. I mean, there's arguments on both sides, of it. There's the medicinal value and benefit to it. I mean, and then there's the legalization, making it, more readily accessible and the variation. I mean, what that regulations would look like. And so either fortunately or unfortunately, that's not a decision that works its way down to the local level. It's just those that it's a decision or something that would pass that the locals would then work around its implementation and enforcement.
Got it. Next question is from Bobby Owen on Facebook.
Okay. Hey.
Get a bottle bill for Indiana. It will solve littering and homelessness because the homeless can make money off of it and still keep the streets clean because the street sweepers that literally go by and clean everything, you see bottles and trash just flying everywhere because people throwing their stuff away or out on the streets. So just take that and people start recycling. If you get a bottle bill like Michigan does and multiple other states, make it starting in Kokomo. Kokomo is supposed to be the place of the city of first. So basically a bottle bill is where you can make money off of recyclables. Right.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's something a possibility to look into. I mean, right now we offer curbside recycling and it's subsidized. So that would be something we're already paying for recycling services. So it would just be an additional expense, and with the projected revenues ceasing, I guess it would depend on if there's other grants or state or federal funding that would go to support that type of. I don't know what Michigan's is like. I think Michigan's is a state
Sure it
bill.
is, yeah.
So I think that I'd probably wait to see if it's something that the state would consider, like you said, another source of revenue.
Sure.
But I don't know that at the local level that we would have the capacity or opportunity or resources to be able to support that type of program, because if it was just in Kokomo, I mean, I don't know that I guess there could be a way to check into. We would only pay for recyclables to residents of Kokomo or Howard County. You'd have to show your ID. I mean, otherwise, if surrounding counties weren't doing it, then people could be collecting bottles and Grant, Miami, Tipton, whatever, and coming in and wanting to cash them in. So it might be a little tough.
Interesting.
Nice idea, and obviously Michigan's been doing it
long time.
But I don't know how. Not being familiar with it, I don't know if Michigan does the same thing to keep folks from Indiana or Illinois, coming across, bringing, boxes and boxes or bags of bottles and trying to cash them in. I think a lot of states
that do it are water states, because they want to keep trash out of the water, and that helps with that. So Michigan, obviously, with all the lake water they have up there. Yeah. Next question from Stacy Johnson from Facebook. Hey. Why do we only have one recycling drop-off site? The one on Market is always full and trashy looking. Well, because it's trash, but one drop off.
Yeah, so it's one drop off within the city limits. Yes. I mean, outside of curbside. So hopefully, if they live within the city limits, they have a blue recycling tote at their place of residence, whether they own or rent. I mean, each property is supposed to have one. If they currently purchased a home or are renting one and there's not one, they can call the street department and make arrangements to have a blue tote brought out to them and put it out every other week. I mean, that would prevent the need to go to the drop-off site, but I get that there's larger cardboard items and such, that would be marketplace or the Market Street location. But if you don't mind the drive, there are 5 drop-off sites outside of the city limits, 2 out at Western High School, 1 in the town of Rusheville, 1 at the South Library, way out east on Center Road, Northwestern High School. I think those are all. We're working on 1 in Greentown. I mean, so there are some outside of the city limits that are often full as well. And so our service provider, we're working through to try to get those serviced on a more regular basis. But same way with the Market Street. But yes, if they live within the city limits, hopefully you have a blue recycling tote that you can either break stuff down and get inside. Otherwise, the larger ones, Market Street, unfortunately, sometimes gets a little full with it being the only one within the city limits. But if it's a nice drive, you can head out to one of those remote sites.
Gotcha. Next question is from Bree Nicole on Facebook. Can we have police babysit Gano Street like they used to when my neighbor lived across the street with a warrant for these kids on mini bikes that are future before they accidentally get killed?
Yeah, so we try to step up patrols in any place we can. I don't know. Can have direct patrol, maybe not the full 8-hour shift or time, but if there are areas along Gano, I know there are other areas that folks have concerns, with the speed and the amount of traffic, whether it's Center Road, whether it's Dixon Road, whether it's up and down Washington. Gano is another one as well. But as we continue to work towards adding bodies quicker than we're losing bodies on the police department, we can work on direct patrols, and so we'll be sure to pass that along to see if we can get some direct patrolling. If she has a particular time of day, maybe if it's after school or evening or something that those kids typically show up, she can email that time or specific locations, and I can pass that along. So mayor@cityofkokomo.org.
Gotcha. SKFKDM also had a similar question talking about, once again, kids on mini motorbikes up and down Gano Street. So that sounds like it's
and even on the trails. I mean, it's unfortunate. And so we've got some electric bikes now to allow our police officers to patrol the trails a little better. Either it's the mini bikes or golf carts and such. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely try and get some direct patrols. Again, same thing. If that individual has a certain stretch of Gano where that may be occurring, shoot me an email, mayor@cityofkokomo.org.
Okay. Angela Host on Facebook also says there's probably needs to be more police working on drivers speeding inside of school zones as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally agree. Yeah. Especially during drop off or beginning of school, end of school, in those areas. But again, with, it could depend on calls, but as we continue to work on that, and some of the Kokomo schools have SROs. I mean, they're not in vehicles, when kids are coming and going, but we could try to find ways to better that. But I mean, again, just as we continue to add resources and get some bodies out there to do some sitting and direct patrolling, that would help.
Okay. Brittany Carter on Facebook. When will there be sensory park? When will there be a sensory park for special needs kids? It's nice to see all these new parks being set up in the last year and a half, but yet they're not safe for autistic individuals.
I know we've got one down in Highland Park on the east side. I mean, down where the gazebo, where just past the ball of diamonds and such, as you're getting ready to exit out onto Webster. I mean, there's I believe a sensory or an autistic specific type of park or handicap park there. But I know just recently was introduced to some sensory boards and such, and it helped kids who may be nonverbal communicate as well, using pictures on those. And so we've got the Parks Department looking at the possibility of adding some of those to the parks as well. But likewise, just as I had offered and mentioned to the folks about the Gano Street, if she's been to parks that have specific apparatus or opportunities or availability, feel free to shoot me an email. I can pass along to the Parks Department. We can look in and check on costs and possibility. So mayor@cityofkokomo.org. She got ideas.
Okay.
Love to see it and hear it.
Next question is from Teresa on Facebook. I'm wondering about the housing program. Where are they going to be the new homes that they are supposed to build?
So the new home. If she's talking about our property infill program, where the city has a handful of individual vacant lots throughout the city that we've either acquired through tax sale or commissioner's sale, those are available through our development department. Builders or even potential homeowners that are working with a builder or contractor can contact the development department and to see the list of available lots and to discuss that program. Again, if it's something that someone is interested in putting a single-family home on, the city's contribution to that project would be giving them the lot, but they would have to have a contractor or be a contractor themselves with a design plan ready for that particular property, and then they would sign an development agreement that has a expiration date on it, or completion date, so to speak, on it, within which they would need to complete the construction of that home. So hopefully that's what she was referring to or talking about.
Okay. Jason Miller on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Can you ask if the city has any new plans to do something with Future Park?
We do not have any plans currently for Future Park. I know at one point there was the talk of considering that as a location for some more pickleball and tennis courts. Those actually have environmental restrictions on it, similar to what a portion of Kokomo School Corporation there at the old Cotts Field has, and so there's only so much that can be done without a little bit of remediation. But at this point, there's nothing specific in mind for Future Park. I think we talked a episode or two back that had a few requests for either another disc golf course or maybe a remote control course. So with the landscape back there, that might be a nice option for, or those might be two good options for the use of that. So definitely something that could be considered.
Okay. Next question is from Ken on Facebook. What are you doing about the unhoused, not the rescue mission people, the ones that don't go to the rescue mission?
We try to find ways to encourage them to facilities that are available. The unfortunate situation with that is that like any of us, they do have rights, and if they don't, if they don't qualify to reside in those shelters, there's only so much we can do. I know that the ordinance that was passed last year addresses specifically camping in public places, whether it's the parking garage, parks, trails, city hall, other common areas, the gazebo, and other places that are considered public spaces. But again, if there's not availability, or if they just don't want to abide by the rules that the available shelters have, there's only so much that we can do. But I know that we're working with the police department as well as legal department to find out what can be done to either address those that are here. I know there's some churches as well that have reached out and tried to provide some support to those as well. But again, if there's not space available at this time, there's only so much you can do. And a lot of times too, if there's space available, they just either can't or don't want to live under the restrictions that those shelters and places may have. So we're working through it.
Gotcha.
Trying to find out what we can do legally and humanitarianly, if that's even a word.
Next question is from Gay on Facebook. Some houses in some of the neighborhoods have trash setting out in the front yard, old cars, appliances. Why can't the city do something about cleaning this up? It ruins the whole neighborhood, or it runs the whole neighborhood down.
Yeah. So if they see properties like that, a lot of folks, they want to get involved, or they want to be the whistleblower and such. So you can leave an anonymous tip and provide an address that may be a blighted property, or they may have, or may be considered a nuisance property. Code enforcement would come out, and I know that a lot of folks are like, okay, we called them, there's nothing's being done. Well, there's a legal process that we need to follow, and a lot of times too, when code enforcement gives notice to those properties, they're like, okay, sorry, give us, some time to clean up. We've got this or got that, and so they try to work with them and give them time. And a lot of times too, they'll clean it up and get it to a state that is acceptable and such, and then a few weeks later it goes, right back. So folks are just encouraged to report those properties to see what, if anything, can be done legally. And again, in the many times those cases, they're not satisfied or addressed immediately just because of the legal process. You got to give them notice, got to give them so many days to then address it and get it cleaned up, and then follow up, and then if there's not, then have the ability to get legal access to the property to then clean it up. So again, it's not Gestapo style where just if somebody's got a nuisance property, we can just automatically have street department or somebody show up and just start taking stuff out and cleaning it up. There's still a humanitarian way and legal way that needs to be followed in order to address nuisance properties.
Got it.
Report them.
Mary has a similar question about a burned house allowed to stay standing after over a year. Lead street owner needs to take care of it. It's an eyesore and it stinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of times in that, cases are held up by insurance companies. There's been a handful in recent years that have been up for a lot longer than care to, and a lot of times, the property owners are, hey, we're still working through insurance company. We're trying to get a settlement out of that. More times than not, that's the reason for that. It's similar to a nuisance property. If something they can report that to code enforcement. We can look into it. And contact the owners to try to hurry them along. But more times than not, especially in the case of fires, the insurance company steps in, and they're typically the ones that are dragging their feet on eventual cleanup or restoration.
Gotcha. Howard Tipton, a kind of a famous fake Facebook page on Kokomo these days, on Facebook wants to know, are they not getting ready to hand 931 over to the city to take care of? I thought it was a part of the deal. After 10 to 15 years, the city takes over. That's why they already did the bridge underneath the Wildcat.
Nope. There was, 10 to 15 years. So that would have been about the time they completed the 31 bypass and then renamed 31 to 931. But no, there was not been a relinquishment deal in place after the completion of the bypass. The state of Indiana still maintains that. Yes, they're removing the guardrails. Yes, they're getting ready to repave both northbound and southbound lanes from Markland South just past State Road 26. But no, there's been not just my administration, but at least 3 prior, if not 4, that have tried to work with the state of Indiana through NDOT to try and get 31 relinquished to the city. But because of the amount of maintenance and such that would need to be done to get it restored or would need to be done, neither party has come to an agreement on the amount of money that it would take or offer by the state to the city in order to take that stretch of 931 over, especially with the length of it that it is and with the number of bridges as well, because then county comes into play. As they talked about the bridges, NDOT is still, there's still maintenance to be done, on that, which they're responsible to do, which is why they're kind of piecemealing a lot of it. But no relinquishment deal in place, nor nothing that has yet to be transferred as a result of some type of settlement from the construction of the 31 bypass.
Gotcha. Tony on Facebook wants to know, please do something about Dixon Road from Markland to Sycamore. It's terrible. I'm not sure if he's talking about the condition of the road. We've also got a lot of comments in the past about people speeding in that area. So it could be either of those.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we're getting ready that's one of the major projects that'll be paving projects this year is from Markland to Sycamore repavement, a repaving, which could also exacerbate the speeding issue, but we may look at the possibility of some type of traffic measures or lane measures to address that or reduce it. Same way with Gano, if we had more resources to be able to do direct patrolling to try and stop that. But I think that stretch of Dixon between Markland and really between Boulevard and Sycamore, I'd probably take it all the way to Alto. It's just, it's 4 lanes and it's full throttle, and unfortunately, people abuse that opportunity. So yes, that section's going to be paved this year, and then we'll just look at some type of measures to try and address the speeding.
Got it. Michelle on Facebook wants to know if we can we get 100 West fixed? The holes are ridiculous and all the way down to the road. 100 West, that might be a county.
No, it's probably Park Road. So Park Road, does have some issues from, at least Boulevard out. I don't know if I've not been on that stretch of Park Road south of Center Road. But I know that there's going to be some work done, I think, along Park Road, or would try to either this year or next, from Boulevard at least to Lincoln or something. So that may be where they're talking. A lot of that, the canopy, meaning the trees, along the country club there have created issues with moisture and the shade and such, and wreaking a little bit of havoc in there. So I know paving wise, at least from Boulevard to Lincoln, we'll probably get some love, like I said, either this year or next.
Got it. Beth says Markland between Washington and Apperson is ridiculous. We need both lanes back. I don't know if that's going to happen, Beth.
Oh, got it, because we narrowed it. It went from 3 to it went from 4 to 3 with a dedicated left in there. That was a lot of money put in there, and we would have to pull money off of other repaving projects or other construction, road construction process in order to address that. But no, I mean, I get it. Folks get used to, and it could be a speed thing too. I mean, you get behind somebody and you can't get around them until you get past Apperson. But it's one of those things that was done. A lot of money spent on it, and so you'd hate to spend even more money to try to readjust it.
Got it.
So,
a lot of questions on sidewalks today too. Oh. So Simon on Facebook wants to know: are repairs to the sidewalk the homeowner's responsibility or the city's?
So the homeowner's responsibility, but if you have sidewalks out front and there's issues along the entire block, we do have a 50-50 program. We've talked about it on episodes before. So through the engineering department, there's information on the city's website under the engineering department on sidewalk 50-50 program. But if it's right in front of folks' homes, it is the responsibility of the property owner, because in almost every case, the sidewalks were installed by the developer or whoever built or planned the neighborhood or division to begin with, and so those are the responsibility of the homeowners. But again, if you can get an entire block or 60% of a block to sign on to have it done, there's the 50-50 program that the city partners with the homeowners and covers half of the cost of the sidewalk replacement.
Yeah, Joseph Morris on Facebook also wants. There's a tree on my sidewalk strip that the roots are pushing up the sidewalk. Why is it my responsibility to cover half the cost of the repair?
Right. So in cases like that it's the trees are pulling up the sidewalk, that's something you can contact the street department. They can take an assessment, and if the tree does pose a safety hazard, can either take that tree down or somehow shave and get the root system corrected in order to repair that section of sidewalk. So in the case of public safety, where there's a tree or some major work that does create a public safety hazard, they can contact the street department to have them come out and assess it and make a decision that way.
Myrna Lee wants to know, is there a plan for sidewalks on South Berkeley Road? The walkers going to the work release center should have a safe place to walk. And as a resident along this road, I shouldn't have to worry about hitting them. Myrna on Facebook.
Yep. So in the next couple of years, that's one of the projects that we've been working on through our municipal planning organization, or the MPO, which is the Coordinating Council of the City and County. It's one of the projects that, again, has been shuffled around, and so that stretch of Berkeley will be reconstructed and sidewalks, at least on the west side, installed, and that'll probably be the next 2, maybe 3 years, again, depending on how funding works its way down, either from the federal government or state government.
Got it. Next question. Let's see. Some of these were repeats. Andrea she just says the access roads, especially the one off Faith Road, probably needs some work.
The access road off of Faith Road.
Okay. What's Faith Road?
It's up on the north end. So yeah, because I know there's some attention being given to potential development there too. So if that's the case, that could be something that the developer would work in as well. But yeah, I mean, we can look at the access road up on Faith.
Okay. Next question. Let's see. Bobby on Facebook. What about all these potholes that eat our vehicles, like the one up by Wendy's and Save a Lot?
And Wendy's and Save a Lot. If it's on the street, it's ours. If it's in the parking lot or on private property, it's there. So the owner of the property, either Wendy's or Save-A-Lot, if the pothole is in that parking lot, that would be the responsibility of the property owner. But if it's one out towards the intersection there at Morgan and 931, that's something, if it's far enough west from the intersection, it would be ours. If it's close to the intersection, it'd be something that the state is responsible for, because again, 931 is a state road, and that includes all of the intersections, so many feet in either direction from that intersection. So we'll look at that too. But if it's on the parking lot or the road or access into Wendy's, it would be the private property owner's responsibility.
Gotcha. Sorry, we're getting a lot of live chat questions, so I'm trying to pull them over. Let's see. Next question is from Henry on Facebook. Okay. Wanting to know what you are planning to do on Dixon Road with all the little flags in the yards. Would like to take out the flags so I can mow my yard.
Okay. A lot of those are utility locations, and if it's on Dixon, depending on the section, chances are it has to do with the repaving and work that's being planned, because some of the work may be done at on the corners or curbs as well. And so if those are removed in order to mow, try to get them back in the place where they were before, or simply pull them. And if you don't mind calling the utility company back and have them relocated after you mow, that'd be great. But again, they're just, they were utility locations. You can call the city's engineering department to see if enough time has passed after those locations were done, because a lot of that is for design work, and they probably could very well be pulled at this point. But if you don't mind checking with the engineering department, give them your address to make sure that it's okay to pull them, or if you do pull the mow, if the utility company can come back out and relocate them.
All right. We are 25 questions through.
Okay.
We're rocking and rolling.
We're going.
All right. 26 question is from Karma Lee on Facebook. Don't know if that's a real name, but it is. That's kind of cool. I would like to know whose idea it was for these ridiculous bump outs that take up 8 parking spaces per intersection and make it more dangerous to drive. I'm sure more miserable for the snow plowers. Give people jobs and take them out. Karma on Facebook.
Yep. With the, other things, with the amount of money that was spent on putting those in, it would take just as much probably to take them out. And because a lot of those were funded by community development block grant funds from the federal government, there's certain restrictions, on that as well. But again, with the limited resources we have and what we want to do to address roads and curbs and such on areas that are still in need, unfortunately, we just have to work around them at this point until either resources present themselves or something becomes an issue. Sorry.
Gotcha. Sarah Marie Miller on Facebook wants to know, the parking problems in our downtown Kokomo are out of control. People are parking in the 2-hour parking spots in front of businesses all day with no repercussions because there's no one patrolling. Our businesses are hurting because of it. Sarah Marie on Facebook.
Yep. And there was a meeting with the Downtown Association members last week, and we had a major from the police department address the group, and we've been discussing that, and we are going to work on a program to get some folks out there to help address that. So they will hopefully see that presence soon, and hopefully we'll be able to address it. So those concerns and complaints have been heard, and we're trying to find a way to work within the means of the police department to get it addressed. So should see some results and a greater presence here soon.
Okay. Prontip S. Larson on Facebook says, I was disappointed that my question was not answered directly. Oh. This is from last week's show. Okay. My question had 2 parts. Expanding the line westward, I understand that the railroad owns the line, and the parking on Dixon. There is not a good, safe place to park if you want to use the Cloverleaf going north.
Right. And so, so the first I don't know if he's still asking about that line, but I know we're still talking to the railroad company on that. I mean, we'd have to put a walking bridge across Deffenbaugh as well to continue it. But yeah, trying to find a place for folks to park close to Cloverleaf. I know that if you pull into the Wildcat Creek Soccer Complex, I mean, there's the walking path that gets you kind of close where you can get on the trail from the soccer complex. Nothing, that direct yet, but we're working on that. Otherwise, it would just be a matter of finding an area on that southwest end of the Cloverleaf for folks to park in close proximity to the trail to get on. Otherwise, I know that off of Carter Street, there's May Lake Park that you can, there's some parking spaces there that can get you there on the Cloverleaf, there at Carter where the train tracks, used to be, but yes, right by May Lake Park. So there's that. It's not as far southwest, close to Dixon Road. But and as for parking there, the city doesn't own any ground large enough for parking spaces near those areas that aren't already covered by or have restrictions on them if it's down closer to where the old landfill used to be. So, sorry. So soccer complex would be good. May Lake Park would be good because there's parking at both of those in close proximity to the trail.
Okay. Next question is from Christina on Facebook. Kokomo is a food desert in a sea of the most fertile land in America. So how long will it take to get an actual grocery store, not Dollar General or Family Dollar, on the north side? There's more to this town than just 931 Markland Corridor. Since the battery plant is on the north side of town, it's a complete if you build it, they will come situation. There's enough land for a Costco, a Whole Foods, and more if the focus were to be turned on the north side. There's a whole CVS building sitting vacant. Christina on Facebook.
So the CVS building has an option on it, and so that one's not available at this time. Not sure what CVS or that potential buyer would have on that, but we've been trying to get that message to larger grocers since, I say we, the city of Kokomo, since before I was even mayor. So there have been efforts to reach out to larger grocers to come. And unfortunately, because of the number of small box discount stores that are scattered around the community, those grocers have told us that it doesn't fit in their plan at this time to bring an establishment there. And like a lot of others, they want to be where the traffic is, and so which is why 931 is as popular as it is. But the availability of food, it's just as much a food accessibility as it is food, availability. That becomes an issue because there are a lot of delivery services that the grocery stores offer and such, but we've been trying to court and get a grocer to locate on the north side of Kokomo, but even then putting a grocery, because Save-A-Lot's up there. Mm-hmm. But getting a grocery store, in an area that would have a lot of foot traffic. Still, folks would still need to get to it. I'm not saying that that's an excuse because we have been trying. We've talked to a number of grocers, and right now it supposedly doesn't fit into their marketing plan in order to do that. Yes, there's availability or the presence of this battery plant and the possibility of more employees, there coming and eventually living in Kokomo, but we can't force or make a grocery store come to a particular place. All we can do is continue to court and hope that one finds it into their plan to bring such a facility to Kokomo.
Okay. Yeah, and folks, we've been doing this show for 5 years now, and that's been a topic since day one. There has been tremendous amount of effort to help try to make that happen. And you can't force a grocery store to open a location in a city, right? Now there's plenty of strategies.
Help incentivize, but
yeah, it's been a topic for a long time. Next question is from Gary on Facebook. Why is he allowing J1 to enlarge their recycling plant of toxic waste, increasing the plant size with the addition of 2 new train tracks for slurry train cars? J1's plans for expansion includes the processing of toxic waste brought into Kokomo from other sites besides our own battery plants. Gary on Facebook.
So a lot of what they're planning to do is being monitored by the EPA and by IDEM, and IDEM is the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. And so anything that they're doing or planning to do has to get cleared by both of those. And then our wastewater treatment plant also is monitoring that. Our fire department does inspections out there on those facilities and such. And so it's a great partnership, and we rely on the experts in each of those state and federal agencies to make sure that what they're doing does fit in line with what they're expected to do and claim that they're doing. And so we're confident that those agencies are giving us the support and direction that we need to keep them accountable for what they're planning to do on their facility and as they continue to expand.
Okay. Yep. Next question is from Karen on Facebook. When will the traffic speeds be addressed? Well, they were earlier than show. Traffic on South Washington Street travels on average about 45 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. Man, Karen came with data. Some are 70 miles per hour and higher between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Karen.
Okay.
Living up to your name. Yeah. She's out there with radar guns.
Good. Yeah. No, so again, back to direct patrols, speed limit signs. I mean, we sometimes and unfortunately are frustrated by this, that signs, especially speed limit signs, only keep the honest folks honest. People are going to scoot as fast as they do, but similar to Gano, to Dixon, I even mentioned South of Washington. It's just finding the time and patrols or the manpower to do more direct patrols and to monitor that. So given that window of 4 to 7, that's a good indication of when we might be able to throw a few guys out there, guys or gals, to address the speeds as we try to work within the means to hit the other areas of concern as well. Thanks for the info.
Yeah. Becky on Facebook, when will we get Chick-fil-A? Is Pop Shelf still open?
Going backwards, I think Pop Shelf is just about closed. They were going through.
They were popping off there.
They were popping off a lot of stuff. And so they're probably getting close to being done, but not sure if they're just downsizing or getting rid of inventorying and open back up. Not sure, but I think they're about done. And Chick-fil-A hopefully will be breaking ground here the next month or so. I know they're working through some final issues with the property owner itself. So Chick-fil-A will be leasing that area from the property owner. And so working through some of that before they officially break ground. But the word is that it's going to be soon.
Gotcha. Next question is from Justine on Facebook. When will the mini golf course be completed?
The mini golf course, working through the final testing and such for that. So hopefully the mini golf course will be completed yet this summer. And that's over at Cutler Park, the old East Side Little League, by Elwood Haynes School and Critter Corner and out that direction. So should be able to see some work beginning out there. I know they've been doing site clearing, but hopefully they'll be able to start that here in the next few weeks.
All right. So this next question is not a question. It's a statement. Some would call it a threat. This was made during when we were talking about the Bradford pear trees. The coterie on live chat said, we borrowed a chainsaw and we're going to go vigilante on these Bradford pear trees. They make downtown smell like a festival porta potty.
Okay.
The coterie. The hero we never thought we needed.
Okay.
Rob on live chat wants to know, when will the flower pots be hung on the light posts? People from other communities like what our community does with putting up flowers. They say it looks so beautiful. Kudos to the maintenance team that waters the flowers at night. Wish we could get the flowers all over town. Rob on live chat.
Awesome. Thank you for that shout out, not just to our night crews that maintain and water those, but obviously the folks that to put in the time and effort to get those planted. There was just a community planting a few weeks ago before Easter. And so with those being planted, hopefully when we're confident the weather is stable enough, those will start going up. So hopefully here in the next week or so.
Love it. Next question is from Kyle on live chat. I heard the Mayor Moore was buying the first round at the Riverwalk Concert Series this year. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know. They're
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
That's right. Riverwalk coming soon. Love it.
I forget when the first date is. I know he just threw that out somewhat recently.
Well, I heard him and Bree talking on the phone today, so there should be out there something soon.
Okay.
Yep. Next question is from Charles on live chat. The stoplight at the intersection of 931 and Carter Street takes way too long at night. Can you fix it?
We can send word in to NDOT because, again, being on a state road, 931, that is NDOT's responsibility and under their authority, and they manage and monitor the signals along 931. So we can definitely put a bug in their ear to see if they will address the timing of that particular light.
Got it. Leslie on live chat. Thanks, Mayor Tyler Moore. Good job on the Kokomo Post for doing these online interviews.
My pleasure. Appreciate the shout out. And thank these guys for letting me come on each week.
That's right. Thank you, Leslie, for that. Jane on live chat. Hello. Do you foresee raising local taxes now that Governor Braun has changed the property taxes?
Well, it would, I guess what's getting thrown out by word coming out of the State House and from the governor's office and lieutenant governor's office and everything is that, well, if the locals still need funds from the short or what's being saved, if you will, by the property tax relief that's being proposed, then the locals can look at the local income tax. So that would be that's what they're throwing out primarily, is that a lot of the communities already have a local income tax, but that allows, they're encouraging those to consider using that tool and increasing that in order to make up for the shortfall that the property tax relief would create. So jury's still out, not sure. Like I said, we're going to work with a consultant, see what the projections may be, and just see what options are. If it's, if it's, a food and beverage tax, if it's a user fee of some sort, or just looking at services and changing the way that services are provided. And we're going to look at all options. We'd like to look in-house and internally, before adding any additional fees or taxes, but know that that's probably the reality that may result, that every city, town, community is going to be faced to consider. But more than that, pray for the schools. I think the schools are going to take the harder hit on a lot of that, and so be patient and supportive of our schools.
Yeah. Jake Young on live chat wants to know, is that 50-50 program only to tear out and replace? Many could be fixed with cement leveling versus total replacement. Jake Young on live chat.
It would probably depend. I mean, the 50-50 program is totally removing and replacing the entire, that's mine, because it would be the entire block. So they would just lay it all as opposed to doing sections. But they're welcome to contact the engineering department and have them stop out and maybe run an assessment to look and see. But the 50-50 program typically is an entire block's length of an existing. Now, it can't be that an entire block that doesn't have a sidewalk at all call and say, hey, we want a sidewalk out here. That's not what the program is. The program is to repair and address existing sidewalks currently in place.
Gotcha. Steve on live chat.
Yep.
Smith Road and Morgan Road from Phillip Street is a drag strip from 7 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. It would be nice to be patrolled, especially since young kids are waiting on school buses. Steve on live chat.
Okay. We'll add that to the list.
Okay. Colleen on live chat. When will we have an adequate emergency services for our citizens? More ambulance services. Colleen on live chat. Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, both hospitals do a great job now. I mean, yes, there's times when there may be no medic available, but that doesn't mean that there's not some type of medical attention being given to those in need. That when it says no medics available, that means that they need somebody and need a paramedic or an ALS unit to then be at that in order to transport someone to a local hospital. We're currently, talking to one of the hospitals as well to see, what their, challenges are. Both hospitals, I mean, I think, they've got three, at least three, in some cases even four each, in service over the wee hours of the morning, maybe only a couple in service, but at any given time, both hospitals are providing anywhere between 7 and 10 ambulance trucks in our community. It's just, unfortunately, they get calls. I mean, we hear that too, that if folks have issues with transportation and have a mild medical incident or something, they're quick to call an ambulance, and that ties them up as they're addressing it. And it may not be necessarily that drastic of a medical emergency, and so they get called out. But our hospitals do a great job. We've got a great partnership with our volunteer departments as well. And so it's just, I mean, I get that, you see the report come across that there's not a medic available. That just means they need somebody in order to, or needs a truck to transport somebody. That doesn't mean there's not one of our fire department trucks there with 3 guys that are providing medical attention and such. I mean, so they're being addressed. It's just the need for some type of transport to there. But again, continuing to work on manpower to try and assist in that way. And I know I've said it before, and people can say that this is an excuse, all they want, but last time the city of Kokomo Fire Department had ambulance service, in the department to add to what the hospital is providing, we had 122 firefighters on the department. Right now we're around 92. I mean, so yeah, give me 15 more. If we're able to get 15 more, we'd be able to put one, the one ambulance back into service. But again, working on it, as we're trying to hire both police and fire, quicker than, they're aging out and retiring. It's just an ongoing battle.
Sure.
So working on it.
Potentially the last question on live chat unless somebody else pops in there and asks another one.
Okay.
Lori on live chat, will you ever change the trolley system to expand it to Greentown and Rocheville? Hopefully longer hours and on Saturday, because the free cab on the weekend is normally broke and only holds 2 people, and cabs can get expensive. Lori on live chat.
Yeah. So right now, as it stands, the trolleys and Spirit of Kokomo buses can't go out of the side of the city limits because of the restrictions on funding. We use federal funds as well as city funds on that. So at this time, no, the trolleys or the Spirit of Kokomo buses will not go to Rocheville or Greentown. And in order to expand the lines within the city or even the hours, we would need additional trolleys to expand the lines, which is additional resources. And then likewise, the evening hours and weekend hours, if you run the trolleys in the evenings or weekends, again, because of the restrictions on the federal transportation agency funds, if you do the trolleys, you got to provide Spirit of Kokomo. If you drive Spirit of Kokomo, you got to do the trolleys. And so extending the hours in the evening and onto the weekends means would require more money, more facilities, and possibly more drivers. And we're not able to provide that at this time, and would love to. But again, just like with the state level, I mean, with everything that's coming out of Washington, federal government wise, and what's not coming out of Washington, the federal government wise, places restrictions on the level of services that locals are able to provide because of what those cuts and adjustments have been. So
I lied. We have one more question, and it's from our longtime viewer, frequent question asker, Charles. He wants to know, why did you take our Golden Corral?
Why did I take Golden Corral? I don't know. It was something that just kind of snuck up on me. But I mean, I enjoyed going to Golden Corral. Unfortunately, I think COVID did a number on Golden Corral and other buffet restaurants. But I mean, just like trying to get a grocery store or a restaurant or entertainment venue or something to come to Kokomo, there's only so much we can do to try to keep someone here or keep them from closing. And a lot of times we don't even know that they're struggling or maybe closing until it's too late. But sorry about Golden Corral, Charles.
You should be. Yeah.
Hopefully he's had better experiences at his Subway.
Yeah. Hopefully the Subway is improving.
Yeah.
I'm glad this guy remembers it. It's good. Speaking of food, did you know, for a long time I thought KALE was an acronym for like kill all enjoyment. And I just found out that's not what it stands for.
Really? What's it stand for?
It's just a word. It's not an acronym.
Kill all enjoyment.
Yeah. Jordan says, the mayor, it's okay to say Golden Corral is bad. Like, they're gone now. We're free. We're free to speak. We're allowed to say it.
They weren't bad.
All right, we're good. Well, that's enough questions today. We appreciate. He's too nice, folks. That was 44
I had a really
questions.
nice cowboy belt buckle
that would have worked today. You should have worn it.
Loosen that belt.
Should have worn it. That would have been good. All right, so those were 44 questions easily. That is a show record for us. 44 questions on the live show. If you have any questions that we did not get to, leave them in the chat below. We will do the show once a week, every Monday normally, unless somebody's scheduling is changing things up. But if you have a question for the mayor, leave it in the chat below. We also post clips of this show frequently. We also put out a big post on Mondays where you can ask your questions in that chat. Folks, 44 is the number to beat. Let's try to get 45.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture. What a cool thing. We just jammed out for almost an hour and a half, answering questions directly from the mayor, directly from people that live in the city.
Thank you all for enduring.
Very cool. Do you have a dad joke for us today?
Oh, I'll just talk about food. I mean, Spartacus actually was kind of glad that the lion ended up devouring his wife. Spartacus? Yeah. Was not bothered at all that the lion devoured his wife.
That doesn't sound like a good husband.
No, Spartacus was Gladiator.
That was a good one, actually.
Not too bad.
That was not bad. Yeah. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller & Son Furniture. Thank you, guys. We've been doing the show for a while. That was fun.
That was great.
Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the interactions. Thanks for the chat. Charles, thank you always for your questions and your comments. We'll see you next time. Have a good week, Kokomo.
See you, Kokomo. Yeah, as soon as you said Charles, I'm like...